This is Ruben Lowing. This is my leadership talk for today. I haven't been doing these much lately. Got a lot going on. My wife's been in the hospital, and that's kind of, occupied a lot of my uh, focus. But here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm promoting the meeting mentality because this is what happens when you're in a distressed situation for whatever reason, financially or relationship wise or whatever, you go into beta brainwave and you won't receive new information usable. Your brain won't be able to use new information. Okay, it receives it, but not something you can use right away. But this is what happens if you keep exposed to the information. Once that stress is lifted, all that information, everything you heard, all right, and you learned, you were exposed to the teaching, right? Pop, hits you in your brain, just like when you turn your cell phone off while you're going to church or into a meeting, and when you come out and you turn it back on, all those messages and emails and notifications start popping. Same thing. Same exact thing happens in your mind once that stress is lifted. Okay. And now, if you have a defined goal, a defined objective, okay, you want to live in a certain house, or you want to, you know, travel to a certain place, or do something that you consider significant, that's important enough, where you think about it a lot. Okay, that becomes part of your subconscious, and the amygdala part of your brain will always be hunting for that path that will take you there. Okay, and you may not think that that you're in a space that you can you're able to have that or have it in the future, but that desire causes you to unconsciously seek the route that's going to get you closer to that goal, right? So when you're plugged into this business and you go to the meetings and you hear the information, and then all of a sudden now you can use it, right? Right. So that's why plugging into the Zoom meetings, right, is so important. Okay, because you're going to hear, and that's how when you can do it. Okay, and here's the trick. Okay, we don't want to put people in beta by being too negative about the situation. The PowerPoint that we have right now is from 2015, right? Do you think it's all the information is negative as it is? You think it's getting better now or worse now? Okay, yeah, exactly, right? But we have to beat people over the head with that? We have the solutions. It's so sweet when we go, okay, so what if everybody, I just talked to one of my associates, okay, so this is what you've done. Okay, so you've got your policy, you've got that baseline, the base layer of the foundation taken care of with your policy. Okay, and then so the next is the debt management. We're working on that. All right, together we're working on that. I'm working on that with him. Right, and then the next is the emergency fund, and they've been him and his wife, they've been saving. They've he told me they've never saved like this before. Right, and then the top layer is investing for retirement, which he's also doing with the base layer, okay, with his policy. Okay, so I'm like, now, do you think if everybody had their foundation set up like this, do you think there would be the problems that there are now? And he's like, no, right? This would be a breeze, right? So with that said, we need to get more people to understand that. I said, it's kind of like when I used to teach boxing to Navy pilots and air crewmen. They would only get like, four, or I guess it was 2 days of sparring. And so I would just, watch these guys, and whoever was getting their face beat in, I'd go to that guy's corner. And I'd tell them, I'd see what they needed to do. I'd tell them to do it, and they usually do it because they had a really good reason to do what I told them. And if I told, well, as long as I told them the right thing to do, they'd do it, and they would turn their fight around, right? And I started thinking that I was like the best boxing trainer there is, ever, right? But I realized after a while that, what, these people had a really strong need to take my advice and implement it. Okay, so right now there's a whole bunch of people that may not have listened to you before, but they're going to listen to you now. And then on top of that, the credibility of the speakers that we have for this event, Dr. Joseph Copeland, Bridget Brannon, Mark Hansen, right? So, and then plus the CEO and the CIO of Zoom, right? Then this guy this other PhD from Harvard, right? So these people, that gives you a lot of credibility. They had no problem coming and speaking to our company, right? They loved it, right? So that helps a lot with the credibility. Okay, if this guy thinks this of us, and your in-laws don't, who are you going to listen to, right? All right. So these are all things that we need to get this information out there, right? And there's so many people that need help, and you don't want to be the gatekeeper keeping the gate closed to keep them from this information. Okay. So with that said, it's so much easier now than it has been before. If you just made 4 contacts a day, right? You get 4 people registered for this Zoom conference May 30th every day. You're on your way. I mean, that's basically the baseline of building your database in your market. All right, so that's my input for today. Have a great one.